All right, so I just want to show you an example of an ideal gas law problem. So you want to make sure you have your calculator handy. You also need from your notes in this problem, the formula is PV, pressure times volume, is equal to the number of moles. N is number of moles. R is the ideal gas constant times T temperature. R is going to depend on what unit you're using for pressure. If your pressure is ATM, if the unit is ATM, this is the R you use. If it's kPa, this is the number you use for R. And if it's mmHg, this is the number you use for R. So that R depends on whatever unit pressure has in the formula. So I'm just going to do a couple with you so that you've seen them done. So we'll start with number 1. What's the first thing I need to do?
Get your values.
Write my formula, and I can get my values too. I can if it helps you to write them out, then by all means write them out. P V N R T. All right. So since if I have 4 moles of a gas, so I know that my N is 4. At a pressure of 5.6 ATM, so pressure is 5.6, and since it was ATM, my R constant is 0.0821. And a volume of 31 liters, I'll skip to number 2. A volume of 12 liters. What is the temperature? So now what do I do? Bless you. Plug in, right? All right, so I'm going to plug in 5.6 times 12 equals 4 times 0.0821 times T. So I'm going to do 5.6 times 12, and that gives me 67.2 is equal to.
Man, I just guessed on the value. It was 12 times 0.6, and I was correct.
0.3284 T. And so now I'm going to divide by that on both sides to get T by itself. That cancels. So I'm going to have 67.2 divided by 0.3284. My T is equal to 204. 204.63. You can round to that second decimal place. What is my unit for temperature? Kelvin. I've got to use Kelvin. So that is my answer.
So this is basically what we done the other day. This is basically what we done the other day.
Yeah, except we didn't do this formula. We didn't do a formula with the R in it or the N. So this is, but as far as what we're doing, we just got a formula and we're plugging in. Questions? Let's do number 2. Okay. All right, so number 2. I've got my formula. I'm just going to use this as my formula for number 2. And I'm going to write out all my variables here. So if I have an unknown quantity of gas, so I don't know how much, so I'm looking for my N, I'm looking for my moles. At a pressure of 1.2 ATM, and since we're using ATM, we know that our R is 0.0821. We have a volume of 31 liters, And we have a temperature of 87 degrees Celsius. 87 degrees Celsius. So how do I find N? What's the first thing I need to do? Swap Celsius to Kelvin. So I'm gonna do that by adding 273. And so that's going to make T equal 360. Y'all agree with me? Okay, so temperature is 360 Kelvin. So now I'm just gonna plug in. So I'm gonna have 1.2 times 31 equals N times 0.0821 times 360. So 1.2 times 31 is 37.2 equals N times the product of these, 29.556. So I'm gonna divide by that on both sides. $37.2 divided by 29.556. That is going to give me N is equal to 1.26 moles. Any questions? Pretty straightforward there. All right. Let me know if you have any questions at home.